In the 100-plus year history of the Indianapolis 500, approximately 763 drivers have raced in the event, over 219 have led a lap, and just 70 drivers have won the race. But everyone involved has a similar feeling about the greatest spectacle in racing.
It's been around for 100-plus years. We have fast cars, the technology, the safety. We have great drivers. I mean, the best drivers in the world have driven here.
For me, it's tradition, it's patriotism, it's innovation, it's the pinnacle of our sport. It's the biggest race in the world.
I've been very lucky to go to Super Bowls, World Cups, Olympic Games. The atmosphere at the Indianapolis 500 on race day is like nothing else.
250,000 people here in one day, in one single day. So it's so many people. It's I feel like it's just a show about to start, and the best part, you part of the show. The love for this place, the passion that I have for this place, it's indescribable. For me, this place is magical.
Ray Haroon won the first Indianapolis 500 back in 1911. It's believed he used the first ever rear view mirror on his car instead of using a riding mechanic, which was customary in those days. During the 1930 race, Billy Arnold took the lead on lap 3 and never looked back. He won the race leading 198 laps, a record that still stands today. Louis Meyer became the first three-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 in 1936. It was the first year that the Borg-Warner Trophy was awarded to the winner, and Meyer was also the first driver to celebrate his win drinking milk in Victory Lane, a tradition that continues to this day.
And now the traditional swig of milk.
How sweet it is. Wilbur Shaw won the 500 three times in a 4-year span, winning in 1937, 39, and 40. He later became the president of the Speedway and remains the last Indiana-born driver to win the Indy 500. Troy Ruttman was the youngest winner of the Indianapolis 500, driving to Victory Lane in 1952 at just 22 years old. In 1962, Parnelli Jones became the first driver to qualify at over 150 miles an hour.
His fantastic run showed all 4 laps in the 150-mile-an-hour bracket.
Despite running 29 races, winning 3 poles, and leading the third most laps in history, Mario Andretti won his only Indy 500 in 1969. Rain stopped the 1976 race after just 102 laps, making it the shortest 500 in history. Johnny Rutherford became the only driver to walk to Victory Lane at the Speedway. In 1977, Tom Sneva became the first driver to qualify at over 200 miles per hour, and Janet Guthrie became the first female driver to qualify at Indy. A.J. Foyt went on to win the race, becoming the Speedway's first 4-time winner. He finished his career with a record 35 starts, 4 poles, 4 wins, and 555 laps led, 4th most in history. The closing laps of the 1982 race are some of the most exciting racing in history. Gordon Johncock and Rick Mears battled to the checkered flag.
Gordon Johncock off the 4th turn. Mears is right behind him. Johncock, Mears makes a try. Johncock wins it by less than 1/10 of a second.
Danny Sullivan and Mario Andretti were battling for the lead in 1985 when Sullivan lost control of his car and narrowly missed Mario. Sullivan went on to victory, making his spin and win one of the most famous moves in racing history. In 1987, Al Unser Sr. became the second 4-time winner at the Speedway. Filling in for Danny and Gaius, who crashed in practice, Unser qualified and raced in a year-old car that was on display in a hotel lobby just a few weeks before he drove it to victory at Indy. 1991 marked the 75th anniversary for the Indianapolis 500. Willie T. Ribbs became the first African-American driver, and Hiro Matsushita became the first Japanese driver to qualify at Indy. 4 different members of the Andretti family competed in the race. Mario, his sons Michael and Jeff, and their cousin John all started the race. Rick Mears started on pole and won the race going away, becoming Indy's 3rd 4-time winner. In 1992, Lynn St. James became the second woman to qualify at Indy and the first to be named Rookie of the Year. Al Unser Jr. and Scott Goodyear battled in the closest finish in Indy history.
The checkered flag is out. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second.
You just don't know what Indy means.
Arie Luyendyk set a new speed record at Indianapolis in 1996.
It's a new track record.
His new 4-lap qualifying record of 235.986 miles an hour still stands today. In 2000, at just 19 years old, Sarah Fisher became the third woman to qualify at Indy. Helio Castroneves captured the first of his 3 Indy 500 victories back in 2001. With the win, the Speedway rookie brought his trademark of climbing the fence to Indy. In 2005, Danica Patrick qualified 4th and finished 4th in her first Indy 500. She became the first woman in history to lead the race.
190 of 200 laps will be complete this time by Danica Patrick going side by side with Weldon. She'll be the leader in turn number 1.
My goodness, they're 3 wide, but Patrick's got the lead.
The next year in 2006, Sam Hornish Jr. battled Mario Andretti's grandson, Marco, to the finish line in one of the closest finishes in Indy 500 history.
Can a teenager win in Indianapolis? Sam Hornish Jr. makes the pass, he'll win it! Sam Hornish Jr. goes to the inside of Marco Andretti and wins it in the final 100 yards!
In 2008, Graham Rahal, son of the 1986 winner Bobby Rahal, qualified for his first Indy 500. The Rahals became the 22nd father and son to race at Indy. And in 2012, Dario Franchitti won for the 3rd time at Indy, making him just the 9th driver to win the Indy 500 3 or more times. The next year, 2013, Tony Kanaan won.
I love you, brother. Great job. You're now a winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend. Thank you.
And in 2014, it was Ryan Hunter-Reay in victory lane.
Checkered flag is in the air. Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the Indianapolis 500.
The 2015 race had fans on the edge of their seats as Penske Racing teammates Juan Pablo Montoya and Will Power swapped the lead repeatedly in the closing laps. But at the end, it was Montoya who crossed the finish line for his second Indy 500 win, setting the record for the longest span between successive 500 victories at 16 years. 2016 was a year of celebration at the Speedway, and it marked the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. Months worth of preparation, festivities, and build-up to this monumental day culminated in an epic race as IndyCar rookie Alexander Rossi pulled out an astounding win by saving as much fuel as possible and taking the lead while others had to pit in the closing laps.
Alexander Rossi into turn number 4 on fumes.
Twin checkers are out and the rookie will win the 100th Indianapolis 500-mile race.
You just won the Indy 500, baby! Oh my God. Alex, you are the champ.
In 2017, the Indianapolis 500 had its first Japanese winner. Andretti Autosport's Takuma Sato led the race twice for just 17 laps, but that included the all-important final lap, by passing 3-time Indianapolis 500 winner Helio Castroneves with just 6 laps to go.
Twin checkers out, history will be made as Takuma Sato goes to victory lane.
Sato was hailed as a national hero when he returned to his home country of Japan shortly after the race. The 2018 Indianapolis 500 marked the 102nd running of the famous 500-mile race. Near record heat reaching 92 degrees and a brand new super speedway aero kit on the cars presented many unknowns for the teams and drivers as the green flag flew on the field of 33.
And we are racing.
From the start, pole sitter Ed Carpenter dominated and pulled out a nearly 2-second lead. But a yellow flag waved on lap 68 when Danica Patrick, who returned to IndyCar after a 6-year absence to end her driving career at the Indianapolis 500, lost control in turn 2 and finished 30th.
Oh no, Danica Patrick in the wall.
On lap 94, quick pit work by Team Penske vaulted Australian Will Power to the lead.
Will Power leads the Indianapolis 500. Can he bring it home?
And with a strong run to the finish, Power went on to win the race in his 11th try by 3.1 seconds over Ed Carpenter.
Will Power's going to win the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Yes! Yes! Can't believe it, man! I cannot believe it!
It was a dream come true for Power, whose emotions overflowed in victory lane after the race.